We know how wind turbines work and use the wind to generate electricity. So, do you think there may be a new technology that could use the same wind to produce electricity? And even cost less and work way better than wind turbines? In today's video, we will introduce you to Kite Power, a technology that uses two kites tied to each other to generate electricity. As one kite goes down, the other goes up, and electricity is constantly being made. Entrepreneurs think kites could be used to catch winds high above the earth and make electricity for less money than wind turbines. Can their tech get off the ground? Want to know more about Kite Power? Then watch this video till the end. There may be a new way to use the power of the wind, or rather a new way to think about the kite, which has been around for a long time. A research group in Switzerland called SwissKitePower and engineers in Italy at KiteGen have been working on this type of renewable energy from wind power. The two teams have different ways of doing things, but the basic idea is the same. The idea is that wind power is more robust and more stable at higher altitudes, but it takes more work to get to. Giant kites, on the other hand, could fly up hundreds of meters or even kilometers, where there is a lot of energy they could easily collect. As the kite goes up, it pulls on a line wrapped around a drum. As the drum turns to let out the line, it is connected to a generator, which makes electricity. After the kite has reached a high enough altitude, its angle to the wind is lowered. This is similar to how a sailor on a lake luffs a sail. This causes the kite to lose wind from its wings and fall, while the line is pulled back in with minimal tension and energy use. Once the kite has finished going down, it is let to go back up, where it makes electricity again. This technology can be used in places other than Switzerland and the Italian Alps, which are high up. Instead, the idea is that kite technology could be used anywhere in the world. There are many potentials. A couple of hundred meters above the ground, the wind is almost always steady. Compared to traditional wind turbines, kite power has a lot of benefits. Most of the time, this alternative way to use wind energy is about 50% cheaper. Along with this benefit, kite power is only 10% as heavy as a typical wind turbine. Because of this significant difference in size, it costs less to make, ship, and install the equipment, and less infrastructure is needed for on-site maintenance. Also, this technology has about 4 times as much energy available as traditional wind turbines. This is mainly because kite power can get energy from offshore resources. For example, kite power can get wind power from above the ocean. Could this green technology replace traditional power sources and help reduce carbon emissions and global warming? These kites work in the same way that conventional wind turbines do in terms of aerodynamics, but they have many more benefits. Since the kite's rotors can be used as propellers and turbines, they lift the kite into the air when it is launched. Wind over the ocean is more vigorous, and there is more of it. This is an untapped source of energy. Also, about half of the country's people live just a short distance from the coast, so power can be used on-site and doesn't have to be sent all over the country. Another essential thing to know is that energy-generating kites don't do much damage to the environment. They do less damage to the environment than traditional turbines. This is true because of how the kite flies and how it is made. The kite flies above where most birds fly, and the way it is made makes it less likely to nest or perch. The most important thing about kites is that they are very efficient, producing 50% more energy than regular turbines. At a higher altitude, kites can find stronger and more steady winds. The plan is to let a kite fly up to 600 meters in the air and use the strong wind at that height. The kite's wing is connected to a station on the ground and reels in and out of the station. The 40M2 kite needs a little energy to get back to Earth as it reels in, but it makes 32 kilowatts of power when it reels out. We will give 3 reasons why kite power is better than regular solar panels and windmills. Firstly, the kite can go further. The jet stream is a thing that happens high in the air. This jet stream can move up to 250 kilometers per hour and is more steady than the wind closer to the ground. There is a lot of power up there. Wind turbines are closer to the ground, where the wind speed is usually lower and changes more. Secondly, kites use fewer materials. One of the best reasons to use kites for wind power is that they require less material. Compared to wind turbines, the kite power system only uses a small amount of the material. Wind turbines' concrete and metal parts are replaced with smart systems, integrated services, computers, tensile structures, and a membrane. Less material means less cost, so that we can get more wind power for much less than wind turbines. To crown it all, it has a low visual impact. Most of the time, people near wind turbines don't like them. They think wind turbines look bad, make too much noise, and cast annoying shadows. These problems can be solved by kite power. It doesn't look like much at all. The kite is hard to see, and the wing goes up into the sky. Also, the noise is much less than that of a wind turbine. Kite power has a lot of advantages over wind turbines, but we don't think it will kill wind turbines. Wind turbines, an old technology, and airborne wind energy systems will be used to speed up the move to a fully renewable energy economy. Many more years will be needed to improve these systems to the point where they can be used in large-scale kite parks that work well. Our energy economy will require traditional wind turbines and other renewables to cover the baseload in these years. Kite power is the best way to use wind energy. Why isn't it being used right now? There are a lot of technical and non-technical problems to deal with. For instance, we are going into an area of the sky that is also used by planes and unmanned aircraft like drones. We also have many technical problems, like making things reliable and easy to use. Kite power can now fly for 3 hours on a single charge. We want to make it possible to fly for 24 hours with a wind turbine, but a small one, 30 centimeters in diameter. The wind is stronger and more consistent at higher altitudes, and the systems could use 100 times less material than traditional wind turbines. After more than 30 years of research and commercial attempts, there are still many exciting things to learn about airborne wind energy. In more than 30 years, there has yet to be a commercial breakthrough in wind power systems that fly. Kite power is still in its early stages. Most companies are working on small pilot projects and have yet to scale up their technology to the megawatt range, which would put them on par with traditional wind turbines. But there are already small ones on the market. In 2021, Sky Sails Power, based in Hamburg, was the first company to sell something. Its production model is a soft kite with an area of up to 180 square meters that can be turned. A rope that is 800 meters long connects the kite to a ground station in a shipping container. When it's working, the kite flies in large, graceful figure eights in the sky and powers a generator on the ground that can put out an average of 80 kilowatts, which is enough to power about 60 average U.S. homes. Compared to a typical 2.75 megawatt wind turbine, that is small, but about the same size as many portable industrial diesel generators. The device is made to be used in places far from the power grid. In the long run, companies want to make bigger kites that can produce megawatts of power. They imagine many kites would be put together on wind farms to send power to the grid. Modern commercial windmills have blades about 80 meters above the ground, where the wind moves at a speed of almost 5 meters per second. At 800 meters, though, the wind speed goes up to 7 meters per second, which means it could produce much more energy. At 800 meters, it would be nearly impossible to build a standard turbine that could use the wind, but kites could quickly get there. Many ideas for demonstration projects can be used in the real world. KiteGen, an Italian company, has developed a theoretical plan for a system that could produce a gigawatt, which is as much power as a typical coal-fired power plant. Its objective is to fly 12 sets of lines that each have 4 500 square meter kites on them. How fast a new technology gets to market depends on how much money investors are willing to invest. Commercial systems could be working in 5 years if the money was there. The technology could stay in the lab for 10 years or more if the funds weren't there. KiteGen thinks they can make energy for 2 to 5 cents per kilowatt hour, cheaper than fossil fuels, which cost 5 to 9 cents per kilowatt hour, or current wind farms, which cost 15 cents per kilowatt hour. They think a complete KiteGen system would cost less than an order of magnitude than a windmill rated for the same amount of power. Even if the generator for a kite-powered system costs the same, the kite and lines would cost less than the rotor blades and tower together. Since the system is still in its early stages, it is hard to know how much it will cost to build and run. But power generation estimates show that kite-powered generators could cost less than windmills. If the same amount of power can be made, kite-powered generators have many advantages over windmill generators. Windmills are limited in size by how stable they are and how hard it is to make them. On the other hand, kite generators can be made bigger, and more kites can be added in a carousel configuration. Also, repairing a kite or its lines is cheaper than fixing a windmill's blades, and kites could be controlled to stay away from planes and animals. Windmills only have significant advantages over kite-powered generators besides being a proven technology that has been around for a long time. If KiteGen and other companies are close to right about the potential of kite power, it will significantly affect wind power. We have reached the end of this video. Would you say that kite power is way better than wind turbines? Or would you back the opposite? Use the comments to tell us what you think. Like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching.